Hey everyone, it's Daddy Roo. This video is going to be about, what tech will be good in this format. A lot of people have asked me so far, what do I think they should side deck? That's a really hard question because we don't know what's going to be ruling this format yet. So we can only guess at what would be good to side deck. What I've told people so far is what I would suggest to side deck is removal if it doesn't hurt you, because removal kills a ton of the decks in the format. I mean, it kills Monarchs, it kills any grave-based like Twilight, Lightsworn, anything like that. It kills all those decks. So, I mean, removal is going to be an automatic good side deck. Now, you can do permanent removal in the form of Banisher of the Radiance, Macros Cosmos, and Dimensional Fissure. Or, if you just want one-time static removal, you can do DD Crow, which is a good card because you can pitch it and remove the monster from their graveyard, and it gives you a dark in yours. So if you're running some kind of dark engine with like Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Arm Dragon, Black Luster Soldier, whatever, there you go. It gives you a free dark in the graveyard. But even more than that, I think one of the best cards that's going to be coming back around this format is Soul Release. It removes 5 cards from the graveyard. I mean, that's pretty epic. Like, let's say your opponent goes, they play charge, they mill 3, they search Lumina, they summon Lumina, they pitch for Lumina's effect, they grab Garoth, they mill 5 in the end. Let's say they mill 5 different Lightsworns, Say they got a perfect setup going. You go, 1 Soul Release, all their monsters in their graveyard are gone. And that was a good turn. I mean, they charged, they Lumina, and they got the mill off of Lumina and Garoth, and 1 card negated all that advantage. Which, when you look at Lightsworns, that is an advantage. That's the thing people don't understand. People say, well, Lightsworns are inconsistent. They mill way too much, which, by the way, if you don't know how Lightsworn works, they want to mill. Milling is the point of that deck. Watch any match between a Lightsworn player and another player. The milling is what saves them. That's why they mill. I just got water dripped on me. Anyways, yeah, milling is the point of a Lightsworn deck. Just because they mill a lot doesn't mean they're inconsistent. That helps them. That makes their JD and stuff playable. But yes, removal cards are going to be really good, I can tell you that. From what I've seen, you're going to either want a side or MST main. Or MST inside or main, however you want to say it. MST is going to be very useful, because right now, we're seeing all kinds of stuff. I mean, especially Decree and Skill Drain builds. You're seeing Skill Drain heroes and stuff like that, and I've even seen Skill Drain dragons this format, which was bizarre to me, but I mean, I guess it works. So go with what works, I guess. So MST is always going to be a good card. Now it's at 3, so that's more anti stuff for stuff that might hurt you. Really, other than that, I mean, it all depends on what you're running. Like, that's the biggest thing. When you look at your deck, you have to understand, what am I running and what will hurt what I'm running. You need to side cards to prevent your deck from being hurt by the decks that would hurt your deck, if that makes sense. Basically, let me give you an example. Say I'm running Twilight, okay? Say I was going to be running Twilight in this format. Obviously, you know what my main deck is. It's a bunch of bullshit with darks and lights. You understand that. But, what are the decks that can hurt me? Well, I'm not afraid of any meta deck if I'm running Twilight, because I'm running Twilight. I believe it can beat the meta. That's why I'm running it. What I gotta be afraid of is anti-meta decks and removal, because that's what kills me. So the decks that I would automatically be afraid of are removal decks. Now, what is the easiest way to counteract removal? Well, either anti-removal or returning. So I would go 3 Imperial Wall and 1 Burial from a Different Dimension in my side deck, in case I verse removal. Then I would say, okay, now that I got that dealt with, what else could hurt me? Well, if I'm Twilight, I probably remove from the graveyard a lot and special summon from the graveyard a lot. So in order to do that, I don't want to be versing Gravekeepers. So, to get around that, I would side in that stupid, the stupid field card. When it's in play, you can't play another field card, blah, 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 blah. That stupid thing. I would side 3 of that. That way they couldn't play their field card on me. And like I said, you just have to go down the list and figure out, what can hurt me and what can't. And once you figure out what can hurt you, side cards to prevent that. Also, a really good thing to do is play test. Like, remember, you need to play test. Like any deck, it doesn't matter how good it is, it doesn't matter how expensive it is, you need to play test it. And the reason for that is, some decks might be harder for you than others, because some decks have more outs than others. So that's something you need to remember as well. When you're playing someone, remember that, just because, you have a good deck doesn't mean you're going to win. It all depends on your draws, it depends on their draws, it depends on how many outs they have to your stuff. Just like when I play gadgets, everyone looks at my deck and it's 60 cards. Well, when I play a 60-card gadget, they look at the deck and they're like, oh man, this is an easy win. But they don't understand, well, if it was an easy win, why the hell am I 4-0? They don't think about that. And they're not prepared for that matchup. And that's honestly, I'll honestly say this, my 60-card gadget deck probably is a bad deck. In all honesty, for consistency, for draw ratio, for all that crap that you have to calculate, it probably is considered a bad deck. It really is. But it wins because they're not ready for that matchup. They're just not. When I start pulling out all kinds of random cards like Divine Wrath, Pulling the Rug, Widespread Ruin, Widespread Dud, they look at me and go, what the hell is going on? Because they don't understand. And that's how you win. You need to... Because, see, the game isn't only about power monsters. I mean, obviously, boss monsters help. And obviously, broken effects help. But if you can catch your opponent off guard to where they cannot, answer to your plays, then you can win. That's one part of the game. And that's just something nobody can predict. That's why when that dude ran Empty Jar at that Shonen, nobody could stop him. Nobody has anything to cite against Empty Jar. They were like, what the hell is this deck? Why is it milling me? Oh my god, I'm dead. But anyway, so, just remember, if you're going to be citing something, just look at your deck, look at what kills your deck, and then stop the decks that are going to hurt you, or stop the cards that are going to hurt you. Low-hanging branches. Those things suck. Anyways, that's all from me. See you guys later.